It's a lifestyle, yeah, it's a way of life. It's not just a sport, you know. It dominates every part of your life. My partner and I have a large dog sledding kennel in New Brunswick now, and I mean we're on dogs from when we get up in the morning to when we go to sleep at night. We might as well have 10 children.
Yeah, because you have a few dogs, don't you?
We do. We have 19 altogether. Yeah. So we live and breathe them 24/7, which is pretty typical for most mushers. Yeah.
There are lots of different ways to have fun with your dogs. You know, you can go hiking, you can go sledding. Well, one of the things you can do is go mushing. And you can do that on a scooter, on a bike, or of course in winter, on a sled. So today on NSK9, I'm at the 2020 Celtic Shores Dryland. Hike! Hike!
I can tell you about one of my disasters.
Sure.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, my boyfriend and I decided that we were going to go out dog sledding on one of our local trails. So I usually just run small teams. I don't usually run 4 dogs at once. I just do 1 or 2. So but that day I decided I was going to hook up 4 dogs and I was going to run a sled, and he was going to run a team of like 8 dogs. And I left ahead of him, and we got partway out on the trail, and my dogs were looking for his team, and they were looking around, and one of them got tangled up in their harness. So I set my snow hook, and I got off the sled to untangle the dog. And while I was doing that, Hazel, who you saw running around here, the white dog, she decided that she was going to turn the team around and go look for Doug's team. And as the team was taking off, I grabbed onto the back of the sled, because they say never let go of your sled. And the dogs gave one big jerk and dislocated my shoulder.
Oh.
Left me laying on the trail.
So things can happen in this sport.
Things can happen, yeah. It's not a sport for people who don't want to get scraped up and bruised and banged up, and definitely a sport where you want to wear your helmet if you're heading out on the trail, no matter what you're doing.
That sport is mushing. Susan McIsaac has worked in Ontario and the North with sled dogs. She calls the Maritimes home and brings the annual Celtic Shores Dryland event to the Celtic Shores Trail near her family's Cape Breton home. The Dryland event hosts mushing, but without the snow that most of us would actually associate with the sport.
Last year I decided that I would try to organize like just a recreational run on the Celtic Shores Trail, because first off, I'd been talking to one of the people who's on the committee that organizes it, and they'd heard that I was involved in dog sledding and dog harness sports, and suggested that it would really be the ideal location to start up some kind of a mushing event. So we gave it a try for the first time last year and had 10 teams show up from all over the Maritimes. Everybody had such a good time and was so blown away by everything in this area, the trail, the people, the communities, and all the other things that you can do around here, you know, outside of just mushing. So we thought we'd come back and give it another try this year.
And return to the Celtic Shores Trail they did. Mushers who come to the sport for all kinds of different reasons.
When I got Ellie, because she's rehomed to me, and we were looking for ways to entertain Ellie, because she came to us as a very busy dog. She needed attention, she had a lot of drive, so I was dabbling in a few different things. We did freestyle, we did rally, we did some obedience, just trying to find out what she liked. And Allison's like, I think she would like mushing. And I'm like, I hate the snow. I hate anything cold.
I hate the snow too, so I appreciate
and
that.
she goes, no, I think from watching her, I think she would like it. So first thing we did is we strapped her up to a sled one day, and she was the happiest I had ever seen her. And my husband was away at the time, and I called him that day, and I was like, you wouldn't believe how happy she was. And I know I had a goofy grin from the time we started till the time we got home, and I was still excited about it because I was just so pumped to see how happy she was. And he's like, I think you liked it. I'm like, no, I hate the snow. It was awful. It was cold, and that's how here we are, yeah. And then we started the biking because can't do the snow all the time. And so this little monster here, Ellie, she prefers the snow and sled, and Lily here prefers the bike.
I was living in Thunder Bay, Ontario in the late 90s, and a friend of a friend was looking for a dog handler for their dog sledding kennel, volunteer position to help them out with doing a dog sledding program with the school board in the Lakehead region. So I got the position, and it turned into 2 winters of dog handling for small kennels up there. And then, long story short, I moved to Nunavut, and it was after that, and was unable to keep a dog team up there. The logistics were kind of tough, but sort of kept my enthusiasm for dog sledding alive in small ways. And then when I returned down south about 10 years ago, I got myself another sled dog and slowly got re-involved in the sport again.
But yeah, anytime they try to do a bigger event where there's more people, we definitely try to get involved.
Did you ever envision yourself riding down a trail with them strapped to a bike?
No. If you had told me this 6 years ago, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Because it does seem like a little bit of a terrifying sport.
Yes, who would do that? But yeah, no, we, like I said, we tried it, the mushing with the sled, and she loved it so much that, all right, let's expand from here and try something different.
So if you were going to give somebody advice who was thinking about trying this out, what would you say?
Try it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But at least you've tried it. There's some great groups around. Nova Scotia has East Coast Mushing, Maritime Mushing Supply. We are a group that like what we do, and we love to share it. So if someone's like, that might be interesting, we'll be like, yeah, let's come, let's go with us. So it's fun.
Yeah, because it does seem like a very, it's a small group at the moment because, COVID and things have been a bit weird this year. But, I mean, it seems like a community.
Yes, it is. And I think it's because we enjoy it so much. We want everybody else to see it and experience it. And if we liked it so much, you might enjoy it as well.
In general, we definitely recommend that dogs don't drink water while outside on a hike, and we would recommend that you would bring water for your pet. We tend to see a few common infections from dogs drinking water from outside water sources. One in particular is Giardia, which can cause diarrhea. The other one is more severe and actually can be fatal. It is called leptospirosis. In combination of bringing water for your pet while out on a hike, we would also recommend in Nova Scotia in this area to vaccinate against leptospirosis.
So it's day 3 of Celtic Shores Dryland 2020, and Susan has decided to strap me to this. Wish me luck. Am I going to die?
Maybe.
Oh, good. That's very comforting.
But we're going to do our best to stop that from happening, I promise.
Yeah, point out that on like day 3, it is very cold today in Cape Breton. It's windy.
Yeah. We're going to reduce the odds of anything bad happening. So.
Well, I like the pool and with living like that gives me lots of faith.
So definitely there's a few safety things we're going to want to go over, and a little bit of Musher 101, and I'm going to fill you in on some of the things that we watch out for when we're running our dogs, even if we know our dogs
like
really
poles.
well. Yeah, like poles. And we also want to know a little bit about the quirks of the dogs. And
Oh yeah.
what
yeah,
to
yeah.
watch out
Quirks
for.
are good. Yep.
Yeah. So why don't we just dive right in here and I'll kind of show
Absolutely.
you what the equipment's all about.
All right.
So we've got, you'll see here, we've got a pool noodle here.
Yep.
And this is to keep the gang line or the bungee line off the front
the
wheel of the
tire,
bike.
okay,
So
yep.
this is going to go attached to the back of the dog's harness.
All right.
So if we don't have this here, there's a possibility that the line could drop into the front wheel and
get
cause an
tied up.
accident.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a
Makes sense.
super important piece of safety.
It's a very technical piece of equipment.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's fancier ones out there, but this will do the job. So then the next big piece of equipment we've got here that we want to pay attention to is the brakes, of course.
Yep.
So when you're on the scooter, whenever you're on something with wheels, you want to make sure that your brakes are in good working condition. And when you get on the scooter, you want to keep your weight back. And you also
okay.
want to be aware of that the first brake you always want to use is your back brake.
All right. So you don't go like
Yeah,
head
so
over
you
heels.
don't go over the bars. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. So we might even send you out just to scooter up and down a couple of times and get a feel for it
All
if you
right.
want.
Yeah. Sure.
So the next thing you want to be aware of when you're dryland mushing is when the dog is attached to you, you want to keep tension on this line at all times.
All right.
So your job as the musher is to make sure that the dog is always pulling a little bit. As we mentioned earlier, we don't want the line to drop into the
So I
front
need
wheel.
to stick with like a dog
Yeah.
treat on the front of it.
Yeah, and also when the dog feels a little bit of tension on the line,
Yep.
they know where you are. They know that you're there. Well,
Okay.
it's kind of like your line of communication with the dog.
All right, yeah,
So you don't have to like brake to or anything to slow your speed to keep the tension on, but you do want to use your brakes. If you see you're catching up with the dog
Yep.
and the line's going slack, you want to brake a little bit to match your speed
Okay.
with the
All right.
dog's
So
speed.
that's how you do it. You just break
Yeah.
a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
This is all in your hands. You're the only one of us that knows what's going on and how to do this.
When we say let's go, like you have to be committed 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no slowing them down quickly
No,
at that point.
no.
Is
I'll let her go out to the end of her line.
there? All right.
Do you want to go first, Aaron? Okay.
Is it hard to learn?
You know, the nuts and bolts of it aren't hard to learn. You know, somebody can show you how to hook up a dog to your bike or hook up a dog team and show you where the brakes are and teach you the basic skills of, how to keep the line tight and how to teach your dog to go out in front of you. But it's all the other things that take a long time to learn. It's learning to take care of the health of your dog, like how to take care of a dog that's an athlete, and all the 101 things that you need to know about your dog's body language. If they're tired, if they're raring to go, if it's time to take a break, when they're thirsty, all those kinds of things.
Judique Station, and I'm still alive. And I haven't lost any dogs yet. Which is also, I suppose, a good sign.
With dryland mushing, it's incredibly important to be in tune with your dog to prevent an accident. There are lots of potential distractions on the trail from other users coming along on everything from ATVs to bikes, even by foot. But there's also wildlife, which can be a sudden distraction along the trail.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. You okay? Yeah, that was a coyote, wasn't it? Jesus.
You see how happy they are. Like when we started, they were doing their barking
Yeah,
and
they were
they're
really
excited.
Yeah.
So by seeing how excited they are, I kind of get that drive with them as well. And it's fun to do something with them that they like. Like you can't always be like, get off the couch, get off. Like they're having fun.
Yeah, she's having a fun time. This is her favorite thing, is to run with other teams. She doesn't really like to go running by herself very much. I think lots of people, when they think of mushing or sled dogs, they think of Siberian Huskies. They think of the dog with the little spots on over the eyes and a thick coat. So we do have two dogs here that are similar to that. We have Katie here, who's an Alaskan Husky, and Hazel, who's running in the woods over there. And they are your classic long distance husky. They don't go fast, but they pull really hard. But you'll notice that the other 2 dogs that we have here are hound mixes, and they're for sprint sled dog racing. And they wouldn't do well in a long distance race, but if you want them to go really fast for about, 5 to 20 kilometers an hour, that's what they're for. But you probably noticed today, obviously, we had somebody out on the trail, Erin, and she's running border collies. And there's a lot of people involved in the sport at like the urban mushing level who are running all different kinds of breeds. And if you went to an urban mushing or dryland race in this region, you would see all kinds of dogs, from hounds to border collies. And the basic thing is that they just need to have that love and drive for run. Like any dog that has a drive to run and work and has that heart to, to want to work with you as well does well in this sport.
So is it a little bit about knowing the capabilities of your dog? Because you mentioned some are good at long distance, some good at speed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Is that something you have to figure out?
Yeah, you want to pick the right tool for the job, and if you happen to have a dog and you want to get involved in the sport, you want to make sure you're getting involved in an aspect of the sport that is suited to that dog. So for example, if you have a small dog that you probably want to look at getting involved in maybe just recreational or some kind of a racing event that's 2 to 5K where they don't have to pull too much. So that would be like, say if you had a terrier, maybe you would want to get involved in like canicross, But if you have like a really like a large dog that wants to move slowly, maybe you want to just get involved in some recreational kick sledding or bike touring or something like that.
The most common orthopedic injury in dogs is an ACL tear. So that's also called a cranial cruciate rupture, which is a small ligament that is inside the knee of a dog. They tend to break it by running, planting a foot, and then their body moves while the foot stays planted. And then it causes that ligament to rupture. Most of the time, we end up having to go in and surgically stabilize the knee to help alleviate their pain.
This is one of the most like scenic and picturesque regions of the Maritimes, like who doesn't want to see the Cabot Trail and the ocean scenery that this area has. And I knew that outside of mushing as well, that there's often still a lot of things going on in this area. The Celtic Colors Festival is usually here this time of year, but of course that's canceled also because of COVID. So, we can come down here, we can spend some time mushing on the trails, and then we can go and find amazing places to go hiking or sightseeing, or just go find yourself a seat in a pub and enjoy some local culture and entertainment.
Do you see this growing over time?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. We're always looking for good trails to run with dogs in this province. So to find a trail as nice as the Celtic Shores Trail is kind of gold. So
and one that they wanted you here.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that it's going to grow, or people are going to see that it's worth a drive out here, that it's worth the trip, and
And it's kind of off season for a lot of the tourist operators too, I guess,
yeah.
right? So that's good for them.
It is, and we deliberately chose to plan this for like the third weekend in October, because it's usually the weekend after Celtic Colors is over, so things aren't completely shut down yet, and there's still kind of a Celtic Colors hangover, you want to say, where
there's always music going on
there's
here.
always music around here, and you can always, if people know you're coming, they'll accommodate you.
The Celtic Shores Dryland event means different things to different people, and it's still special when not many can attend. But for everyone, it's about coming together and having fun with your dogs.
I prefer to go out with a group rather than by myself.
Yeah.
It always seems to me way more fun when you're with more than one person.
And now you have your husband as the rescue driver.
Yes, he's my equipment manager.
That's good.
Yes.
See, you are a professional athlete. You have an equipment manager.
Yes, I have an equipment manager. I got that term from a group out of Saskatchewan when I'd met up with them, and they had said, you know, everybody needs an equipment manager.
So it really is a lifestyle.
It is, yeah.
So this is like instead of your dogs fitting into your life, you fit into the dog's life.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, you know, how we spend our day, it all depends on what the dogs need, you know. And so if that means getting up at 5 in the morning to, you know, let dogs out and feed them and get them all set up so you can go to work for the day, well, that's what you do. And same thing when you get home in the evening, it's always dogs first, always.
It's actually not as difficult as, I mean, obviously we have a very good trail here, right?
Yeah.
But it's not as difficult as you would think to pick up. So, I mean, this would be the kind of place to learn for sure.
Yeah.
It's somewhere where you're not going to worry about real rough terrain or big ups and downs.
Exactly. You know, you don't have to worry about potholes or, you know, traffic. It was just like, it's nice and quiet. You can just think about the dog and the scooter.
Exactly. So bigger and better next year.
Yeah.
No COVID next year.
Next time I see you, maybe we'll get you on a sled or
All right.
a 3-dog cart or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah. I'll need a crash helmet at that point. More than just a bike helmet. Do you get a rush from it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I have 2 sprint dogs, and we often go, you know, at speeds of 30 kilometers an hour or faster. And when we're flying down the trail, and I'm 100% putting my trust in them that they're going to keep running and not stop or cause a crash, and they're putting their faith in me that, you know, I'm going to make the right calls for them, and it's, I don't know, there's no feeling like it. It's a real, yeah.
Visit us online to tell us your dog stories for possible inclusion in future episodes. And don't forget to share photos of your canine friends on social media with the hashtag NSK9.
What's your dream for this event?
I'd just like to see it grow. I would like to see this become like just a really fun get-together for the mushing community in the Maritimes. And you know, if people started coming from beyond our region just to come here to mush on the trail, whether it's for our event or not, I think that would be like a really great thing.
Because it is more than just the event too, isn't it? It's the social side, outside of that and everything else.
Yeah, and you know, mushing is kind of a bit of a loner sport. We do a lot of our training on our own, so it's nice a few times a year if we can get everybody together and have some fun and swap stories and talk dogs.
They're among the fastest breeds in the dog world, and it's race time. Sighthounds, next time on NSK9.
So a sighthound is a breed of dog they were bred originally to hunt game by sight. So you have your scent hounds, which are like your bloodhounds and your beagles and things that use their nose to sniff the ground. They sniff out a trail. Sighthounds visualize their prey. And they tend to be a fairly independent dog. They don't need a lot of input from you, one, because they're faster than you. You're never working directly beside a sighthound. So back when greyhounds were used to hunt rabbits, we'll say, they were released in pairs and they would work together to drive the rabbit toward each other and into the mouths of the dogs. But they're working a mile ahead of you because there's no way you're catching up to them. So they're independent thinkers is what we call them. They don't need you to tell them what to do. They know what they're supposed to do, which is why this type of event works out so well, because they're chasing that white bag. The bag is mimicking the prey.